And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of the LiuLi Cup 2024 Grand Finals Playoffs, day number 2. I'm of course your VIP. With you, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, by my plushes as well. Welcome, one and all. We just wrapped up with the podcast. We just wrapped up with the Tenacious Turtles Hustle. Now we are back with our third broadcast of the day. We're back with LiuLi Cup. Let's go. We have 4 best of 5s lined up for us, and up first we have our first matchup here. And you may have assumed it was going to be a PvP. No, Bobby, no, not at all. Welcome one and all, sorry, ZVZ, welcome one and all to a PvP instead. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neon Violet Square, we have the Italian Protoss player, the Red Protoss. Sometimes he off-phrases as Zerg. He's a Protoss player at heart. For Basilisk, it is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. He has also been embracing his main race over the past couple of days. If you've been watching these open cups, if you've been watching a LiuLi League, if you've been watching the Warrior TV Monday, the Pegasaur Monday, you would know he has been embracing Protoss as well. From South Korea, it is Dark. Here we go. Welcome one and all to LiuLi Cup. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. This is a prediction for the best of 5, not a best of 3, not for the game, for the series instead. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Now, coming into this, fun fact, we actually had a scenario that we've been assuming, that we have been waiting for. So far, 2-gate opener, by the way, 2-gate opener here by Dark. Likewise, going to be a gate Saber expand out of Reynor. But first things first, Reynor, he always off-races to avoid ZVZ. He does, I say always, very often he off-races to avoid the mirror matchup, as do a lot of players. They switch to Protoss to avoid ZVZ, they switch to Protoss to avoid TVT. This is what Reynor has been doing for a very, very long time. If you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings for the past week, you would know that Dark has been doing the same. It is a more recent trend from Dark, but Dark, he has been doing the same thing. He played Protoss, and he did take maps off of Rogue in a LiuLi League. We casted this yesterday. We also casted Dark playing a Protoss against Shin during the Pegasaur Monday as well. So we have been casting a lot of Dark's Protoss over the past week, and this is usually also to avoid ZVZ. Now, when I say we've encountered a situation that we've been theorizing for quite some time, a discussion for a while now has been what happens when 2 players want to avoid a mirror matchup and when they both want to play Protoss. We've been talking about this when it comes to Reynor and Clem, how they do specifically avoid certain matchups. They avoid certain matchups. What happens when both players want to avoid a certain matchup? Both Reynor and Dark, they wanted to avoid ZVZ, and now we find ourselves in a PvP instead. Let's go, let's go. So we have a PvP instead. Initially, Dark gonna be rushing into the, he's crazy, let's go. So 2-gate open out of Dark into the gold. Meanwhile, Reynor going for a gate into Cyber into Nexus, I should say gate into expand into that Cyber core instead. Economic openers all around. More economic here by Reynor, but Dark will make up for it a later expansion, but with the gold instead. Let's go, we're here for it, we are ready for it. Meanwhile, Dark coming in with double adept. We do see Hero so far does wall up. And we'll shut this down. Adepts, they get 1 probe kill so far, but just the 1 probe. Reynor, he's keeping up. He does wall off with his own shades. He does keep Dark contained. Does keep him pinned out of the bases. We have more adepts rallying across the map. Stargate follow up here. Stargate into, I would imagine, Oracles. Likewise, Stargate opener out of Reynor as well. And we'll see if Dark can keep the pressure on. We'll see if Dark can keep Reynor pinned at home and allow himself to get into this gold base. We'll see. We shall see. Protoss is everywhere. Yeah, Bappy. We spoke about this during the podcast. You know, it's all about switching to Protoss nowadays. I mean, it's the trendy thing to do, Bappy. Anyone can do it. Apparently, as Dark once again does try to shade into the expansion. So far, Reynor, he has been keeping on top of these walls. Has been walling up. As Dark, he does reinforce with extra oracles. Recalls over towards the gold. Let's go. Does recall over. He shades in. Does shade past. Adepts bust into natural. Adepts bust into the main as well. Probes are going to be going down. Reynor is getting pulled apart. He's getting pulled apart at the same time, though. Oracles across the map. No stalkers are ready. Probes are going down from both sides. 6, 7 probes falling across the map, though, again. And Dark is still not done. Still looking for more damage. And he barely doesn't get it. 7 probes in total. Meanwhile, we just see Reynor finding the gold. He finds the gold base. He does find it. Gets 8 probe kills himself. Both players are hurting, but as the dust settles, what I will say is that Dark, he has the gold. He has the gold base. Dark, he has better mining despite having less workers. But can he hold on to it? Can Dark hold on to the gold base? As Reynor, he is soon to move out. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Nonsense, chaos all around. We're here for it, we're ready for it. As Reynor, he does shade out. Once again, making his way towards the gold. Oh, I should get rid of that. Should get rid of the turtle. Regardless, we are setting up here. Get the depths threading into that mineral line. Getting a probe so far. One probe goes down. Reynor, he shades away. Oracle on the right-hand side going into DTs behind this. We just continue. We continue, papi. Adept harass into Oracles into Dark Templar as well. Both players working towards Blink. So far, Dark, he has no detection. He has no Oracle. He has no Observer. No Robo either. Yeah, rough position here for Dark. As he has no idea what's coming his way. Right now, Dark, he's pinned back home, and it's Reynor who's spicing it up here. As long as he's able to avoid the scouts. There we go. Proxy pylon across the map. The proxy is being set. World Class Zerg RPing as toss? No. You're looking at the best Protoss players in the world. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Mate. You thought you were excited for Hero versus Max Pack? No. The hype is about Dark versus Reynor. Let's go. Sage Trap is denied. And Epsay due to initiate once again, getting 2 probe kills. And meanwhile, where there's our Templar, we still need a little bit more time. They're about to pop it again. So far, there's still 0 detection. Now, of course, Dark reactively can make an Oracle. That is true. He can chrono out an Oracle. But there is potential to try to hit the bases at the same time and try to wreak havoc and just snowball out of control. Here they come. Here come the Dark Templar. They're waddling in. They do waddle in. Alas, I'm hoping that Reynor doesn't hit the goal base too quickly here, as ideally you want to hit both locations at once. There we go. We have the Oracle on the way. And Reynor, he will strike. Dark, he notices. He pulls back. Does a bin in the goal base. DTs are waddling in the Oracle. It's about to pop out. So far, really nice reaction out of Dark, actually. Not losing anything. Is losing mining time, of course, but not losing any probes. He warps in. He blocks off the DT. Does block it off. There's the revelation. I should say the first revelation. You know, our probes are finally going down, getting 1 probe here at the natural. We should have, ideally, an energy overcharge. As the first DT goes down, there's the second revelation. Gets the second Dark Templar. Ooh, and Dark Defense. Dark, he does defend. Now, he was losing a lot of mining time, and Dark, he is now down in the workers. He's down 10 probes compared to Reynor. That is true, but Dark has access to the gold base, so he can help recover, at least in that way. Likewise, Reynor's been building up his own Stalker army. Looking at the units tab here, Reynor, he has more Stalkers. He has Blink, of course. He's moving out, and we'll see if he can break the gold base. We'll see if he can break the gold. As Dark is trying to keep up. Is trying to keep up. Oracle hits the natural, distracts Dark, pulls him away. Yeah, Dark being tried out of position. Reynor going for the kill, going for the gold, takes out the Oracle. No more detection. Oracle goes down. Dark trying to keep up. Again, very impressive DT defense out of Dark. Now he's got his own Observer. The Robo has completed. Sage Trap into the main. Dark, he will focus it down. No, it barely does not. 1 second too late. Stasis goes off. Jimmy, is that you? Hi, este, Jimmy. Oh my god. Get out of Dark. Let him play. Let him play, papi. This Dark is going to be moving out. Now, bearing in mind the army supplies are still very close, very comparable here between the 2 players. As Dark, he moves out with his main army, at the same time Warp Prism into the main, hoping to distract Reynor. We'll see if he can. See if he can, we'll see if he does. Dark is poised to go in. Likewise, DTs there, waddle into the natural. Getting a couple of probes. Remember, the Oracle did go down earlier. Force a recall. Recalls the Observer. Dark maintaining map control. At least trying to. Reynor, meanwhile, getting a 4th base, trying to catch up here in the economy. Likewise, getting to his own upgrades. +1 is faster for Reynor, getting into rover production. The Prism can threaten the main. At the same time, Darky moves out. Does cause a distraction. Probes are going down, and then he goes for the warp in. It does complete. A massive warp in into the main. 5 probe kills. A Dark coming in, takes stasis to the face. Oh! Yeah, it does the same 2 stasis traps. They do pop off. Dark has to retreat. I'm loving the DT defense here from Reynor. He holds. Oh! And the Prism. Yeah, the Prism gets caught out. Massive pickoff. War Prism does fall. Reynor, he can try to catch out these units. Stasis runs out. And Reynor, he catches at least 4 Zealots. Oh! Oh! At least 3. 3 Zealots go down. Dark pulling away. Behind this, going for his own Dark. Let's go! Going for his own Dark Shrine. Do love to see it. Of course, the Go base is coming into play as well. But last Reynor, he has a much more efficient army here. He's got Mass Stalker with +1. Upgrades just now starting here for Dark. Zealots do help. But Reynor, he can kite. He can quite nicely here to this, against this even. Looking in. Dancing with the army. Likewise, Reynor once again going towards that natural. Do we have a cannon to defend? No cannon, there is an observer. Probes are going down. And Reynor, he's just pulling Dark apart. Dark, he's trying to keep up. He's trying. Blinking forward, diving in the army. GG gets called, and Reynor, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Reynor, he will take a lead in the series, and Dark will take a loss here in game number 1. Hold on, just very quickly, hoping to remove the logos mod. Hopefully everything's okay. As we are getting into game number 2. And I would imagine we're going to be committing here to PvPs. We'll see if either player does deviate. Depending on tournament rules, we might see either one player switch or not. Some tournaments they allow it, some tournaments do not. The switching of race, I mean. As game 2 is going to be on Abyssal Reef. Let's go. We're here for it. We are ready for it. Is Hero still here? Yes, he's in the tournament. Yeah. This is day 2, by the way. If you missed out on the VODs of day 1, I do recommend watching the VODs from last night's stream. Again, we were live, of course. We were covering Dark versus Max Pack, Cell versus Reynor, Hero versus Gumiho, and Clem versus Skillis. The players that I just mentioned are the top players of the event. And after this series, we'll go over the rest of tonight's matches here. We'll get there. Oh, yo, we're mixing it. We're crazy. Okay. So Dark is playing Protoss, of course. And Reynor, he is going to be race picking. Okay. Reynor, he is switching to Terran. He wants to avoid PvP. So I guess that's the answer. Like, people were asking, what happens if both players want to avoid the mirror matchup and both players oh god, never mind. Oh no, never mind. So Reynor, he wanted to switch to Terran, but Dark threatened him. Dark was like, hey, if you switch to Terran, I'm gonna switch to Zerg. So Reynor's like, okay, I'm not. You got me. PvP. You got me, Pappy. You got me. So we're committing to PvP. Reynor, he was threatened with the Zerg. And that means that, yes, Reynor is going to be committing here to Protoss. And we're getting into game 2. getting into game 2. They were bargaining to see what races they would play coming into Abyssal Reef. And we commit. We commit, Pappy. We commit. As we're loading into Abyssal Reef. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the Italian Protoss player, the Red Protoss, leading the series 1-0, representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is Dark. Now, in the previous game, we saw Reynor opening up in a very economic fashion, and we saw Dark trying to play catch-up with the gold base. Here, coming to Abyssal Reef, I would not be opposed to either player opening up once again Gate into Cybercore into Nexus, but alas, it looks like that is not going to be the case here, as we are setting up on the high ground. Looks like much more safer openers. Looks like a 2-gate here from both Dark and Reynor to settle into their PvP. Does look to be the case, as Dark is moving out. And Reynor, he does open up double gas. And I don't see a second gateway yet, but we should be seeing the setup here. It is. A second gateway has now been thrown down. And we'll see if Reynor opens up a double Stalker, double Adept, Stalker, Sentry, or Sentry into Expansion. There are different combinations here to go for. Dark is going for the high ground setup, though. Hero, is that you? Gate into... Oh, no, never mind. Just a later second gateway. Never mind. That's interesting pairings here, as that second gateway is actually quite late for Dark. Interesting. Otherwise, we are still settling in. And again, depending on the pairings of units, that will kind of dictate how aggressive or how economic our players want to approach this PvP. As Reynor does scout, does confirm. Likewise, so does Dark. Right now, they're just confirming that the pylons are in the main, that there is no proxy, there is no other setup. As there it is going to be Sentry Adept out of Reynor. This I was not expecting. Interesting. And again, the first units of choice for Dark are delayed because of the, delayed build is what I will say. To put it kindly, it was a bit of a delayed opener here out of Dark. It's going to be double Sentry from our blue Protoss. Interesting. Now, of course, double Sentry base opener is very safe. They allow you to scout, so they allow you to scout again and again. The hallucination is going to be endless here for Dark, as he will see everything that Reynor's up to. It can be quite difficult to hide tech in a PvP. Not impossible, as we saw in the previous game, but it is difficult nonetheless because of how prevalent hallucinations are. Dark, he does catch the probe with a force field. Will lock down that pylon, and now Dark can expand. Likewise, Reynor should soon do the same. As Reynor, he gets a kill. Reminder, Reynor's pylon was cancelled, not killed. So nice pick up here from Reynor. As Dark does not get the refund. Ooh, and here comes that hallucination. Dark setting up a proxy on the right-hand side. Reynor coming in, attempting to confirm what's going on. Does come in. We'll confirm that the third pylon is now here at the third. Or at the natural, I should say. Trying to get an eye on the tech. Figuring out what's going on. We should be seeing some tech here from Dark, and seeing nothing is a tell. It is suspicious. Reynor going for his own Oracle. Stargate into Oracle. Dark going for the proxy. We're waiting here for it to be thrown down. Ooh, Twilight Council back at home. Okay. Twilight Council opener out of Dark. Checking Reynor's vision. He did not yet scout. He is not yet aware. He has yet confirmed the tech of choice. Based on the Twilight Council opener, I imagine this is going to be Proxy Dark Shrine. That would make the most sense in my mind. Or this could just be to reinforce. Could just be to reinforce across the map. Yeah, the probe leaves. The probe does leave. There's no proxy. There is no hidden tech, I should say. Oh, no, never mind. Probe comes back. Never mind. Twilight Council is about to finish, and show us what you got. Do we throw down the Dark Shrine? We do! Proxy Dark Shrine here out of Dark. Let's go! We'll see if Reynor does find it. I mean, DTs did win Reynor the game last time. Or they were a big part of it, I should say. And back at home, Reynor, he does not have a robo yet, but it's on the way. Yeah, very safe play here at a Reynor. It is not uncommon to delay or to skip the robo entirely and get a faster third base, but Reynor's playing safely here. He already has an Oracle as well, so he has Revelations, and he should be opening up Observer. There it is, Observer's on the way. Reynor, he has plenty of detection. Likewise, he is scouting out on the map. He does not yet find the proxy, but he has the tools to defend. Does have the tools, and based on the rally, he will check, he will scout, he will confirm. Oracle comes in, he gets eyes on the pylon, and the Dark Shrine as well. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, brutal scout. Reynor, he will confirm everything. And Dark is going to have a hard time really catching Reynor off guard. It's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. Boys are being pulled. Nice force field, locking down the army. So far, 3 perps going down. Oh, the depths are cleaned up. Depths are cleaned up. Reynor, he will defend, losing a couple of workers here, but alas, he's at least set up to defend against the tech, and he has a much faster third. Third base soon to finish. Dark, I'm sure he knows he got scouted. The pylon did get eyes on the oracles, of course. So Dark knows that Reynor knows. Is aware. We are building more gateways. We can see Dark building up towards Charge. Charge on the way alongside his Blink Stalkers. And it looks like we're going to slow things down. We're going to calm things down at this point. Because of the scout, this Dark Shrine isn't really coming into play. It was a big investment, an investment that never really paid off. So Reynor, I would say, is in a better position. He's in a better position. He's slightly ahead in workers. He, of course, is able to make better use of his tech of choice. He's building up Immortals, building up Stalkers. Stasis Traps being thrown down as well to be that much more defensive. Reynor's looking quite solid. And it's going to be on Dark here to bounce back in this game. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can. As we'll be entering a bit of a lull here. I mean, this is what we expect out of Abyssal Reef. This is one of the largest maps in the map pool. Very macro-oriented, very defendable as well. So we should be gearing up towards a longer game state. Building up more Stalkers, more Immortals, into Charge Lots, into Archons. We could see a player try to skip tech and try to rush into Disruptors. That is true, that is possible here. But both players have gone into Archons, so most likely not going to be the case. I mean, I say that these Archons were produced by Dark Templar from the side of Dark, so not in the most standard of fashions. But I mean, he's got his Archons regardless. Does have them. Prism is on the way to reinforce. Dark, he will soon move out. And Reynor, he's still taking a more defensive stance. Getting a fourth. Now slowly expanding, getting a fourth base. Building up. Dark is trying to be active. I believe the War Prism has arrived. Expanding behind this. And instead of reinforcing with the main army, Dark is going for a counterattack. He's going for a drop. Does move out for a drop here towards the natural. Main army through the center. Taking down those drops. Oh, Stasis going up, catching out the Zealots. Very nicely done. Reynor does catch them. Dark threatening a drop. Reynor looking very secure here. Jesus, like the defensive setup is insane. Look how many stasis traps there are. Jesus. So many. Phoenix will hunt down the Prism. Stalkers, they warp in reactively. They focus down. The Prism falls. Oh, and this is completely shut down. Reynor, he can now focus on the main push. Stasis once again, catching out the Archons. Dark, he takes the Stasis to the face. I need to link this VOD to Jumi, actually. I need... Oh, no. I need to link it to Jumi. As Dark is pushing in. Stasis is about to run out. True. Dark backing up. Dark, he does back up. is going to try to commit. So once again, this time engaging here with more Stalkers. He's going to try and focus on these Immortals and the Archons as well. But there's still, what, 5 Immortals here to defend. Reynor, he would completely shut this down. He forces Dark back. Dark, he cannot push into this. He's going to try to, though. Decent force fields, but they get broken. And Dark pulls away. Does pull away. Zella right here towards the main. Does slip in. Reynor trying to react in time. Does respond with those Oracles. Defensive warp in as well. Dark trying to pull Reynor apart, trying to find an opening. But Reynor, he's ready. Reynor, he defends. His army is still at the 4th. And Dark, he doesn't gain any ground. Doesn't gain any ground. Dark going to be forced back, getting a 5th base, and now we're just building up from here. I see someone asking in the chat about carriers in PvP. Carriers have a very limited lifespan in PvP, just because if we end up in the late game, and if we go Skytoss versus Skytoss, Tempest are just better. Like, Tempest are just superior because they do bonus damage to light units. Oh, sorry, bonus damage to massive units is what I meant to say. So if we enter Skytoss and if you waste some of your your Stargate production on carriers, they just get completely shut down by your opponents, making Tempest instead. So usually it's Tempest Disruptor versus Tempest Disruptor in late game PvP. The only instance where carriers work in PvP is if you're able to race and rush into carriers before your opponent also gets Skytoss up and running. So if you're able to like beat your opponent tech-wise, and if your opponent is still getting to a fleet beacon and still getting to Stargates, then you can make use of carriers. But if your opponent has the equivalent production that you do, then it's not a good idea. Then typically you lose. So more or less, it's viable and it's effective if you're ahead in tech. If you're even in tech, then it's not. So in niche kind of scenarios, you can see carriers in PvP, but very niche. Meanwhile, Dark looking for a way in, going for another Warp Prism. Once again, I'm getting deja vu. Once again, the Phoenix does keep up. This time, thankfully, there are no Stalkers, but the Prism is going to go down. Prism is going to go down. Does unload, attempts a Warp in, and the Warp in, will it complete? Up! Oh, it does not. Warping gets denied. Reynor does defend. And back at home, Dark is going to be incorporating Disruptors, so he's switching to Disruptor production, which is the ideal against a ground-based composition. Reynor is the first to throw down a Fleet Beacon. Reynor, he's the first to start working towards Skytoss, which is the late game, which is what you want in a longer game here in PvP. So Reynor is the first. Dark is still fixated on a ground-based composition. And we'll see if Reynor can get there. For the time being, Reynor still only has 1 Stargate, but he can throw down a 2nd Stargate. +1 Shields, also a tell, getting ready for Skytoss, as of course Shields is applicable to all Protoss units. Does benefit Sky units as well. Zell say 2 going for a massive counterattack. Never goes up. Does connect you on the Immortals. Blast the Immortals, they stand strong. Reynor forcing his way through. Again with 6 Immortals behind this, doing so much damage. He comes on over though. Never goes up. Ooh, 2 Archons go down. Again, pushing into Disruptor is not going to be easy here for Reynor. On the left-hand side, Zelsa being cleaned up. Reynor, he will break through. He's going for the expansion. He's going for the base. Nexus is going to fall. Those Disruptors that they're resetting. Disruptors are resetting, and Reynor, he will back off. He will pull away. DT to defend as well, and has Reynor overextended. Dark trying to chase him down. Never goes up. Does connect. Does not take down the Immortals. Catching out the Stalkers, and these Immortals, they do escape here. 6 Immortals came in. 6 Immortals do get out. Very nice save here from Reynor. Very nice save. Going to a Mothership, a +1 air attack as well. Still not fully incorporating and still not fully embracing Skytoss, but he's getting there. Meanwhile, Dark is still hyperfixated on Mass Disruptor. There's that 2nd Stargate and a 3rd Stargate. So, as the game progresses, I do favor Reynor. I do favor him. I mean, he has been ahead for most, if not all of this game, and taking these first steps into either Carrier or Tempest is going to be ideal. I mentioned the scenario earlier where if both players are going into Skytoss, then Tempest would be required, but because Dark does not have any Skytoss himself, he has no Stargate, he has no Fleet Beacon, then Reynor can indulge in Carrier production. And there it is, Carriers are on the way. So this is going to be a more assertive style, just because, of course, carriers can be more aggressive and more assertive here than Tempest, especially in this kind of position. And Dark is still stuck on ground toss. Now we see a Stargate, but again, this is a late Stargate for Dark. He is behind tech-wise, and there's going to be a big window here where Reynor, he can embrace this sky toss and Dark cannot. So the pressure is on Dark. Pressure is on. Mothership is revealed. Dark, he should know he's behind. The surround comes in. The Disruptor Nova's going to be going up. No major connections. Forced to recall. Dark, he escapes with a portion of his army, but the rest get left behind. And Reynor is going to be chasing. Going to shut this down. Does lift up the Disruptor. Will catch it. Very nicely done here by Reynor. And again, Dark, sure, he has all these Disruptors, but Disruptors that didn't shoot up. They do not shoot up. Dark getting an Oracle. He has to rely on Mass Stalker instead for his anti-air. Reynor breaking through. Oh, getting ready for a recall. Let's go. Recall on the way. We're getting ready for a dive into the bases, I should emphasize. Did Dark switch to Protoss after Radius switch to Protoss? They've been playing Protoss, as is being said, as we have said, stated as well. If you've been watching our tournaments recently, then you would know that Dark has been playing Protoss this week. Up, Novas go up. Ooh, they do connect. Not bad. Yeah, recall here across the map. Only a handful of units do get recalled. And Dark, he can break through this ground army. He is gaining ground. Carriers are now being revealed. Reynor depowering some of the production. Novas going up. And no major connections. Reynor, he holds. He does hold again. Not enough anti-air. Not enough anti-air here. Dark, he has to retreat. Meanwhile, do recall back home. Reynor, he gets out. And Reynor is still making 3 carriers at a time. Still all over this. I'll indulge in the questions in chat after the game. Now we're focusing. Do you see Dark going for the Fleet Beacon, going for extra Stargates? Again, a much later transition into Sky Toss. At this point, Dark, he will have to go into Tempest production. But again, I expect Reynor to move out first before any Tempest come into play. I expect that to occur. As Dark, he desperately needs more time. How many carriers does Reynor have? He's on 7. 7 carriers so far, plus 2 attack is about to complete. Now is the time. As Reynor moves out, Dark hoping to force the army back home. And it works. Reynor, he turns around. And again, this is all about buying time. Dark, he has to buy as much time as possible. There it is. There are those Tempests. As we did mention, Tempests, they do counter carriers very well, but we still need time to actually build them. As Reynor is pushing in. Oh no! The Disruptors! Novas go up! Oof, big connections. But most of these Disruptors are going to be going down. They do take down the Immortals with them though. Nice big offs. Zell take the 3rd base. Reynor pushing in. Going for the main army. Does go for the main army. Black Red's breaking through the mineral line. Getting on top of the expansion. Tempest, they are now arriving. And these Tempests can kite well, but at this point, the army's already on top of the bases. The armies are on the bases. Going for the slow zone as well, trying to catch out those Tempests. Probes are going down, bases are falling as well. And Reynor, he may just have done too much critical damage as he's attempting to dive on those Tempests. Tempests, they get 1, they get, what, 2 carriers, soon to be 3. And again, they are trading efficiently, that is true. But what about the bases? What about everything else? 43 probes going down. As you can see, all the carriers will be cleaned up. And this should force Reynor into his own Tempest production. Should force it into his own Tempest. As all the carriers will fall. And Reynor, he was able to kill, I mean, what, 44 probes? Like 2 mineral lines went down. A base GG gets called. It's just too much to recover from. And Reynor, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. Reynor, he needs one more win here to take down Dark and to advance on into the next round. And to eliminate Dark from the tournament. One more game is all he needs. Let's go. Let us go. But yeah, for those that are curious, we did mention earlier that if you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings over the past week, Dark has been playing a lot of Protoss as of late. But when I say a lot of Protoss, specifically Dark, he has been avoiding ZVZ mirror matchups. Like many players, like Eba, like Clem, like Reynor, like a lot of players nowadays, Dark, he was avoiding ZVZs by playing Protoss. He played Protoss against Rogue, he played Protoss against Shin in Alima League and Pegasaur Monday. And now here he is also playing Protoss as well. Now, what occurred here is that both players, both Reynor and Dark, they're both the kind of player that wants to skip and wants to avoid ZVZ. That is true. So now we found ourselves in a PvP. They have agreed that neither one of them is going to play their main race, that they're going to commit here into a PvP matchup instead. We saw previously Reynor, he was saying that, oh, you know, he can play Terran if they want to avoid PvP. But Dark said no. Dark said, if you play Terran, I'm going to play Zerg. So they agreed to commit to Protoss. They did agree. Now we're settling in. As Reynor is up 2-0, and we're getting ready for game number 3. Here we go. But in general, it's become a trend here that most players, they do want to just avoid mirror matchups. Oh, are we going to mix it up? Oh, we are going to mix it up here. Okay. So Dark, he did relent. He has just relented. He said, okay, you're the #1 Protoss, and he's like, I'm gonna switch. And Reynor's like, okay. So Dark, he hasn't given Reynor the respect he deserves. He says that Reynor, he is the best Protoss, and we will have a non-mirror matchup here. Dark is switching to Zerg, and of course Reynor, he's committing to Protoss. So we are switching it up here, coming into King's Cove. Let's go. So Reynor, he's earned Dark respect. He has earned it. Let's go. And now we're getting into game number 3. Do we begin the comeback? Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, most likely started by Clem. That is not true. If you recall, Reynor has been playing Protoss for years at this point to avoid ZVZ. Clem is more recently switching to Protoss. But here we go. We are getting into game number 3, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the Italian Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg. It is Dark. Now off racing as Zerg. Let's go. But yes, for those that are maybe newer to the scene and newer to StarCraft, Reynor has been avoiding ZVZs and playing Protoss for many years at this point. Has been known to do so in big events. I mean, to Solar's lament, Solar, he's been the victim of Reynor's Protoss for a number of years as well. Feel Solar, man. Feel Solar, man. So, no, Clem is a more recent addition to the players off racing. Reynor has been doing it for much longer, and other players even longer than Reynor. You know, Jim Rising, switching to Protoss. That was back in like 2021, maybe like 2021-ish. And that era of StarCraft. As Dark, he does go for the proxy hatch. Let's go. As a hatch has been thrown down. This will delay the expansion of Reynor, bearing in mind that Dark, he is not going for an all-in. It is going to be a hatchery into gas pool. So this is going to be still I would say like a macro build here out of Dark, as the pool is heavily delayed, but this is all designed to disrupt the build of Reynor. It is all designed to slow him down. Meanwhile, shout out to Zackley, or Zackley 999. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great. I hope you enjoyed the cast. Hope you enjoyed the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy the stream. Welcome, happy welcome. Thank you for the support. And this is still early on in the day, early on in the night. We still have plenty more StarCraft ahead of us. This is our third broadcast of the day. We were just live earlier with the National Tussle. We just wrapped up with the podcast, and now we are here with LiuLi Cup, as there is a cancellation on the expansion. Finally, Reynor can take the Nexus. Reynor can now expand as he does move out. And we'll see if Dark can keep up with the Adept harass. Bearing in mind that Dark, he delayed his gases and delayed Ling speed in favor of that hatchery. So we'll see if Dark can maintain himself and sustain or minimize losses. The Adept has arrived. Reynor threatening a dive. Gets a Ling. Takes down the Zergling, but does get surrounded. Nice movement here by Dark. He shuts down the Adept. Dark, he does defend, and now he can focus on saturating his bases and catching back up. Again, it has been a bit of a disrupted setup here and a bit of a more awkward game just because of the initial proxy hatch. But we're stabilizing as Dark is taking his third, and Reynor back at home opening up Stargate into Oracle. Now, if you've not watched Reynor's Protoss, then you might not be familiar. But Reynor, he's very mid to late game oriented. He is more than happy to embrace late game in PvZ, similar to Dark, actually. If you've been watching Dark's PvZ, you'd also know that he's also one to embrace late game, embrace Skytoss whenever he can. We'll see if Reynor can get there. We are loading into a much larger map, King's Cove. I should also emphasize, welcome one and all to King's Cove, a map known for longer game states, as it is a larger map of the map pool. Despite that, that is an early Twilight Council before expanding. Uh-oh. So a very early take here from Reynor, early Twilight Council. This feels like Glaives. This feels like early Glaive Adepts here from Reynor. And we have seen Dark fall to Glaive Adepts before. Will we see it again? Now, I'm hoping that Dark doesn't delay his Roach Warren for too much longer. The longer the Roach Warren is delayed, the more vulnerable Dark is going to be. And as we mentioned, again, the opener did scream Glaive Adepts, and there it is. Glaives are on the way. Now, what I will say is that one of the biggest tells here is that Reynor has yet to expand, but because of the build and because of the hatch block, I mean, a later third base is expected to begin with. So I think this is really smart from Reynor because it doesn't look as suspicious as it usually would. Just because we expect the expansion to be delayed because of the hatchery. So Reynor, he can master this quite well. It's just a really good way to make use of how the game has been portrayed. And I'm concerned that Dark won't throw down the Roach Warren. I mean, we're already reaching the 5-minute mark. Oh, +1 melee. This tells us that Dark, he wants to go into a lair. And he wants to go into Hydras. Uh-oh. Dark getting supply block. Dark, he is in trouble. Adepts A should be banking up. Getting into those warp-ins. As Reynor, he is breaking out of his supply block. And we do need to reinforce. As Dark, he responds to the Baneling Nest. Okay, now, it is possible to defend with Banelings. It is difficult, but possible here for Dark. As he will have time to react and time to morph in some Banelings, assuming he does scout this at a time. Reynor Glaive is about to finish up, and it does feel like we have been missing some warp-ins here. He should soon be pushing. Should soon be moving out. There we go. 3 more Adepts warping in. And now he commits. Now he does commit across the map. Now what's important here is that the reinforcing Adepts, they move in on the right-hand side, but there we go. We have 4 Banelings morphing in. Is that going to be enough, though? 4 Banelings, Spinecrawler as well. 16 Lings in production. Dark, he is reacting. He's responding. And can he keep up? Let us say thread in the shade towards the third. Spinecrawler's undone. He commits. He does commit. Lings, ooh, they cannot engage. The Oracles, they pop off. Lings, they get shut down. And Reynor is trading well. He's trading very well already. Shuts down the Lings. Does threaten the shade. He splits. The Banelings. Banelings will crash in. Last second split here by Reynor. And he's being cleaned up. Is being cleaned up. One more connection. Whew. And Dark holds. Dark, he does hold on. The Banelings were exactly what he needed. He survives. And now we can embrace a longer game state. Whew, we can calm things down. We have +1 on the way here for Reynor. Reynor behind this. Blink is a little bit late, is what I will say. Blink is delayed. And Dark, he didn't lose too much. Didn't lose too much. Didn't have to invest into the spine coolers, of course. Into his side defense. Lings are here for a counterattack. Reynor, where are the force fields? Depths, they're gonna get shut down. Does hold. Does hold on. Dark going for a Baneling run by. Attempting to distract. Oh. StarCraft will shut down those Banelings. Does shut them down. And Reynor, he's going to be slowly building up. As we mentioned before, Reynor, he typically thrives in the mid to late game, so we're going to slow things down, getting into Colossus production, turtling up as well. Here on King's Cove, it can be more difficult to defend this fourth location just because it's so wide open and it's so vulnerable, so many angles of attack. But we'll see if Reynor can slow the game down and turtle. We'll see if Dark can stop that from happening. Up. Stasis goes up. Nicely done. Reynor, he will clean this up. We'll clean up these Lings. Dark continue to reinforce. Dark, he is joining up to 76, rallying Ling Hydra across the map. Dark, he is committing. Is going to be committing here. Dark does rally. Is going to be rallying out. Is going to be eclipsing the supply here of Reynor. And it's not going to be an easy defense. A lot of this will come down to the stasis trap. Speaking of, decent connections. Bailey's rolling in. They're making their way towards the mineral line. They're making their way towards the sentries. Once again, the force fields are on point. They defend the main army. Probes are going to be going down. But Reynor, he's going to hold. And he will hold on. He holds on to the army, but the base. The base does fall. Fourth base goes down. And really, that's all that Dark wanted. His goal here is deny the fourth. Deny the fourth over and over and over again. This will keep Reynor contained. This will keep him in check. That is all that Dark needs to do. He doesn't have to break the army. Doesn't have to push into the third. Deny the fourth. Just deny the fourth base. Dark pulling back, getting into +1. +1 range on the way. Second Evo chamber. Infestation is done. Working towards Hive. Working towards eventually Lurkers and Vipers. And it's not going to be an easy road to recovery here for Reynor. Now, we have seen, if you recall, Reynor versus Max Pax on King's Cove in a similar position, where Reynor, if you remember, he did deny this fourth base, I want to say like 4 times. It was crazy. He was all over Max Pax. And Max Pax, he persevered. He was very tenacious, and he eventually expanded. And by the time, and because he was able to eventually hold on to this fourth base, he was able to max out and then snowball out of control and defeat Reynor. Now, Reynor, I should emphasize, did intentionally stay on Lair Tech the entire time, and that was his downfall. Here, Dark is taking up into Hive. Does waste some Banelings, but is thankfully taking into Hive, taking into a greater formed army, into Lurkers and Vipers. So Dark, he won't make the same mistake. But it's still going to be difficult here as Dark, he does come in with a split push. He breaks through. Yeah, breaking into the mineral line, goes to make economic damage. Reynor, he does respond in time. He warps in. He walls off. Does wall off, forced to recall. Meanwhile, you see Dark trying to rotate. Oh my god, the stasis traps, once again, they fully wall this area up. Very nice. Area's walled up. Dark, he has to retreat. Reynor holds. He does hold. Honestly, barely losing anything. The base is getting up and running. But Reynor, he does have to replace those stasis traps, and he wasn't able to catch out those lings. Uh-oh. Wasn't able to catch them. Dark, this time he does bait out the stasis traps. This time he is ready. Once again, gearing up for another counterattack. Nidus Storm on the way. Ultra Cavern as well. Reynor securing this position. He is much more secure. Lings, they do break through. No force fields. And no force fields with that. Stalkers are going to be going down. Darky's pushing in. At least trying to. There we go. Force fields now coming into play. But Lings, they bust into the main base. They break into the main. They bring down the cannon. Stalkers do respond in time. And Reynor holds. He will have to rebuild that wall. But what's important here is that Reynor, he has been trading more efficiently. True. He has been having more efficient trades. And Reynor, he is slowly maxing out. He's catching up in army supply. Again, 4 bases is all he needs to max out. Mothership's on the way. Tempest production has begun. Only one Stargate. Only the one. But Reynor, he's defending well. And Dark, thankfully, is not resting on his laurels. It isn't just the Ultra Cavern. Spire is on the way, getting into eventually a greater Spire, I would imagine, as well. I believe Dark is skipping Lurkers. Yes, Dark, he's completely skipping Lurker tech. Ideally going into Ultra into Corruptor as well. Ooh, this base is going to be difficult to defend. We spoke earlier, the 4th is hard, and we saw the 4th base, we saw the 4th base go down earlier. This 5th base even more difficult. And there's a kill. Kill them with cancel, massive pickup. Nidus into the main. Oh, nice force fields, locking down the Hydras. Wingman coming in from behind, going for the mineral line. Does dive in. Ooh, yeah, Probe's going to be going down. Nidus Storm is cleaned up, but this has been successful. Yeah, Reynor, he was out of position. He was distracted by the Nidus, by the main army, and that is 17 probes going down. Oof. Here's a lot of economic damage. But more importantly, can Reynor defend the 5th? Another Nidus. Lings, they dive in, they shut down the cannon. Nidus, I mean, does complete, but yeah, he's going to be shut down. Reynor, he's holding. His holding on is now maxed. Now, when it comes to this maxed out army, it does leave a little bit to be desired. It's very gateway heavy. Looking at the units tab here, there's only 2 Tempest. Only 2 Tempest, 3 Colossus, Archons, no Immortals, Ultras, they sneak over the army! Reynor not paying attention. Yeah, not quite paying attention, and Dark, he's going to be able to collapse on this. He's going to be able to snowball out of control. The cloak gets activated. There is detection, though. And Reynor's taking a rough fight. And from here, Dark, he may have just done it. Comes in for a surround. He attempts to. Does attempt the surround. Ultra's having a hard time pushing in. Again, one of the Tempests, they're doing as much as they can. Ultras, they will be cleaned up, but this is still a better trade. GG gets called. Dark, he breaks on through, and Dark puts a point on the board. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Dark, he does fight back. Again, Reynor, he kind of stumbled his way into that late game army, or into that maxed out army. Again, it was leaving a lot to be desired. Unfortunately, Reynor, he was not aware of the Ultra transition. Because of that, 0 mortals. 0 mortals for Reynor, and again, just a very light Skytoss army. Only 2 Tempest. Only 2 Tempest. So he didn't really have his ideal setup. As he was getting to that 5-base economy, he needed more time, and Dark did shut him down. But what I will say is that the map wasn't doing Reynor any favors. It is very difficult, as we were trying to point out, to maintain your 4th and maintain your 5th base on King's Cove. This is one of the hardest maps to do this on, alongside Frostline. If we end up on a larger map, if we end up on a more defendable map, I do favor Reynor in that style. I do think he's going to just have an easier time defending and expanding and maxing out. Depending on the map of choice, of course. So, where are we dropping? Where are we headed next? Ooh, speaking of, up next we're going to be loading into Amygdala. Okay, and if the trend continues, if we do have another PvZ, I do actually prefer Reynor's chances here as Protoss compared to on King's Cove. I do think this is going to be a better setup for him, but we'll see if that is the case. We might see another PvP. It's possible. Might see another Protoss versus Protoss. As our players are getting in. Oh. As I do notice the stream struggling a little bit. Hopefully everything's okay. I did dip down for a moment. I do apologize. I did go live by accident without switching the Twitch server from this morning, so there might be a little bit of frame drops here and there. Do apologize. We'll make sure that is fixed for tomorrow. We'll make sure. Oh! And it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of everything here today. Okay, I'm here for it. I am ready for it. It looks like we are getting ready for a ZV, for a different kind of ZVP. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. We're switching again. We're switching again. Beautiful. See, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted here. Okay. We have come to an agreement here. So, last game, we had Dark playing Zerg and Reynor playing Protoss, and now the roles have been reversed. Reynor, it's his turn to play Zerg, and Dark, it's his turn to play Protoss instead. Here we go. We are going to be getting in to game number 4. We're going to be jumping into game 4 here. It's going to be on Amygdala. Here we go. And again, we have seen a lot of Dark's Protoss already in this matchup, and I'm excited to see how he does here and how he performs against Reynor. Again, over the past couple of days, we've been seeing Dark against Rogue, we've been seeing him against Shin as well, now against Reynor. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Italian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, off-racing a Zerg. Let's go. Up 2-1. Needs one game here to claim the win to advance on into the next round. For Basilisk, it is Reynor. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is Dark. He needs to win this game to force the ace match. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can. As the pressure is on. And as we mentioned before, Dark, he's typically very mid to late game oriented in PvZ. I was saying earlier that if Reynor did play Protoss, I was going to be favoring him at going to this more turtle style compared to at least on King's Cove. I'm going to echo those sentiments here for Dark, depending on how he does approach this though. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on Dark. For now, should be a standard opener, just gate expand into Cybercore. Nothing too crazy. Likewise, Hatch Gas Pool out of Reynor as well. So standard openers all around. Standard openers abound. And again, at least in Dark's matches against Rogue and against Shin, he didn't really go for anything crazy like Glaive Depths or Twilight Council opener into DTs or any kind of early game shenanigans. It was again mainly off of 3 bases. If not purely off of 3 bases. If he does deviates, we'll scream out 100%. We'll be there. there to yell out into the void. For now, Probe Scout just confirming the gases, confirming that everything is looking as it should from the side of Reynor. And it is going to be the initial Link Speed opener. Going to be Link Speed here at Reynor, pulling out a gas. So no early Baliness, no early Roaches, just no early tech, no early gases. Just calming things down, settling in. And again, welcome and also Amygdala. Amygdala is one of the larger maps in the map pool, longer rush distance by ground. Likewise, there are some goal bases available which you can indulge in, especially if you have map control. It can be difficult to defend these locations if you don't. As you can imagine, if you do gain control of the center of the map, you can deny any kind of mining at the goal base. It can be quite difficult to defend and quite difficult to hold. So it is going to be a major risk depending on the game state if you can maintain this position. Otherwise, we should just be seeing these more fringe locations instead. Likewise, we have seen a lot of Protoss players have success expanding towards their opponents, taking their third base, taking their fourth base, and just being more assertive and more aggressive here in how they expand. But I don't really think that's kind of Dark style. For now, Stargate. Stargate opener into Void Ray, not into Oracle. With this Void Ray, the goal is to hunt down Overlords, is to deny vision, and to keep Reynor in the dark as to what's going on. Behind this, I don't really expect anything too crazy tech-wise, but you know, we'll see. To be fair, I haven't seen too many of Dark's games, only a couple of series when he plays Protoss, so maybe he is willing to spice things up with hidden tech. Overlord's being hunted down. Lings are here to delay the expansion. Dark, he's pinned back. Forced to defend. And he does zone the Lings away. Does zone them back. Dark behind this expanding. Getting his third. Reynor being active, intentionally being proactive here, knocking down these early rocks. Knocking down these center rocks. Okay. You're going for a Roach Warren as well. 4 minute 30 Roach Warren. Lair is on the way. Reynor, you have my attention. Curious if this is just a safety Roach Warren if he intends to make use of it. Again, based on what we've seen from Reynor, he would, if he can avoid it, he does not want to engage into a late game against Dark. Or against Protoss in general. This Reynor has been having a harder time. Does get this around. Catches one on depth, he gets the other as well. Very nice. Does shut the adepts down. Reynor pulls away. Does pull away, just being somewhat active here, just keeping tabs on Dark. Dark behind this is going into Pulse on and Blink. There's a 4 gateway explosion in addition to the, oh my god, that's a lot of gateways on 3 bases. Is taking a gas geyser, but that's only 1 gas at the third base, 1 gas here at the natural. We have what looks to be 9 gate blink Stalker out of Dark. This is a 3 base all-in. Yeah, 3 base all-in is setting up a proxy. That's going to be a proxy 10th gate, by the way. He's completely all-in. So one way or another, the game is about to end. Already Stalker's getting called out. Blink is not done. Very nice vehicles here. Very nice vehicles here by Reynor. Catching out some Stalkers. Behind this, massing up Ling Hydra. Did have a safety Roach Warren. Is not making use of it. Stasis here towards the natural. Reynor does pull away. Does pull away. Here comes the all-in. Here comes the proxy. Again, as a reminder, this is going to be a 10-gate 3-base all-in. There's no other tech behind this. There's no Colossus, no Archons, no Storm, no Disruptors, no nothing. Just a gateway army. And we'll see if Reynor can hold. We'll see if he can survive. As Dark is poking in. Does poke in. Stasis is going to be going up. Ling Hydra commits. The proxy's not ready. Uh-oh. Reinforcements are not ready either, and Dark, before he can really get this all in going, he's being shot down. Yeah, it's being zoned away. And the death of this proxy means the death of these reinforcements, means the death of the all-in. Oh, rough position for Dark. Proxy goes down. Dark being forced further back, and now he has to make a decision. Does he tech? Does he expand? He does. Gas. He's taking a gas geyser. This tells us that, yep, he's going to be taking up into a Temple Archives. Now, this is late. Dark is in trouble. This is very late tech for Dark. Late gases, late +2, late storm, late Archons. Reynor has a lot of momentum, and Reynor is coming in for the kill. Drop Lords are on the way. Big reaction here into Overlord speed, into Drop Lords, into his own counter-offensive. And things are looking bleak here for Dark. Drop Lord soon to arrive. Again, just waiting for speed to kick in. Reynor is going to commit. He's going to commit across the map. To force a recall. Dark just trying to buy time. Reynor, he's maxed out. Border goes down. And here comes the push. Here we go. We have Drop Lords on the right. We have Ling Hydra towards the left. And Reynor, he should be able to break through. He should be able to overwhelm. Storm is not yet done. Templar, they're gathering up energy as we speak. Here we go, June drop into the natural. The mineral line does fall. 29 probes going down, and Darky's not done. As we're still 5 seconds away from Storm, and GG gets called. Dark, he does crumble here, and Reynor, he will take the series 3-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played, Reynor. He will claim the series, he will advance on, and Dark is eliminated from LiuLi Cup. GG, congratulations here to Reynor. My condolences to Dark as he does bow out of the tournament, but coming into this, Reynor proving, of course, his prowess in the PvP matchup and in the ZVP matchup as well. So GG, well played. With that, he does claim the series, and with that, we are going to be getting ready here for our next matches, for our next series. Where are we headed? Where are we dropping? As we are going to be getting ready for our next match, and I believe it is going to be a best of between, it's going to be a best of here between Gumiho and Skillus. Now, vetoes are underway. It's going to take a little bit here to actually get everything going. So we do need a moment here to set things up and to embrace the rest of our matches. Switching our scenes over here. As you can see, we have just wrapped up with Dark versus Reynor. Looks like it's taking a little bit to update the scoreline. But Reynor takes on Dark 3-1. And now we have up next Gumiho versus Skillus, followed by Max X versus Cyril, and Hero versus Clem. It's plenty more matches up ahead of us. For now, we're going to be going on a short break, and once the Vitas are done, we'll be jumping into our TVP. See you soon. See you soon.